feedback form will be shared after the session, which is mandatory to fill. Also, your response will help us improve future events. So now let me share the details of today's topic. The POCSO Act 2012 is one of the most significant legislation in India for protecting children from sexual abuse and exploitation. It lays down comprehensive definition of offences, provides for child-friendly reporting and trial procedures, and imposes strict punishment to deter offenders. Yet, despite its strong framework, there are challenges from delays in investigation and trial to balancing the rights of victims and the accused. Today's discussion will bridge the gap between the law on paper and its real world application. So, now it's time to introduce the speaker we have all been waiting for. We are truly honored to have with us today Advocate Areeba Ahad ma'am, a passionate advocate at the High Court of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, and a dedicated human rights activist. What makes Advocate Areeba ma'am's journey so inspiring is the way she blends legal practice with social advocacy at the law office of Iqbal, Malik and Roman. She works on complex legal issues, but beyond the courtroom, she is deeply engaged in grassroots work. As the Women's Wing president of High Kashmir, she has led powerful initiatives to break the silence and around menstruation and to promote education and dignity of young girls. She has also been recognized globally, most recently as a 2025 Aspire Leadership Fellow, a prestigious program founded at Harvard University that connects emerging changemakers from around the world. And if that was not enough, she is also a published author, having written on sensitive and timely issues like the POCSO Act, marital rape, sexual harassment laws, and the even role of artificial intelligence in India. So we are not just welcoming a lawyer, we are welcoming a change maker, someone who uses the law as a tool to drive justice and equality. Please join me in the given warm virtual welcome to Advocate Areeba Ahad ma'am. So ma'am, please.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for having a great introduction regarding me. It's a really pleasure being here. I was one time at Legal Specs. I had an internship, I guess, before 2 years. And today, being a speaker, it's just like a dream come true. So I really thank you for having this great introduction regarding me, and it's really grateful. So today we will let me start the topic, or this is my small request. Kindly, if everyone is good enough, can you please turn on your phone camera, so that I will
Good
see the
evening, ma'am.
people. Yes, good evening. Yes, so it's my humble request, kindly turn on your phone camera so that I will see all the good faces, and it should be interactive session. So yes, shall I start with the topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
first of all, coming from the background in Kashmir, where where women, या हम कहीं बोले इंडिया में, like safety regards, women are the vulnerable group of the society. So, same as goes to the children. No doubt, there are acts like a Domestic Violence Act, there are protection of children from sexual offenses, but still, there are things which are going beyond that. Like, in order to protect those safeguards, in order to protect these crimes against women, against children, there is the legislation who is protecting the children from the sexual offenses. That is the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, which was enacted on 14 November 2012. So 14 November is also considered as Children's Day. which was a historic legislative development in India, designed to comprehensively address the issue of sexual offences against the children. Before this act, such crimes were prosecuted under the Indian Penal Code. Now we can also call as Bhatya Nyaya Sanhita, um, which lacked the specific child-centric legal and procedural mechanisms necessary to effectively address the unique vulnerabilities of minors. Act to tha, but that was lacking because that was not protecting the children, protecting the minors. But the passage of POCSO Act was a direct result of India's commitment to international obligations, particularly the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which mandates that the best interests of the child are a primary consideration in all actions concerning children. The law not only defines and punishes sexual offences, but also establishes a holistic system for the support of victims and improved methods for apprehending offenders. This comprehensive approach marks a crucial shift from a purely punitive legal framework to one that is restorative and protective. So, this is I will use the Hindi language also for the better understanding because I feel that it should be easier. So, लेजिस्लेशन तो था, देयर वाज अ लेजिस्लेशन, इंडियन पेनल कोड था जहां पे हम प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते थे, मतलब विच वाज द क्राइम्स वर प्रोसिक्यूटेड अंडर इंडियन पेनल कोड, बट उसमें वल्नरेबिलिटीज फॉर माइनर्स नहीं थी, उनमें ये चीज था, पैसेज ऑफ पॉक्सो रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा था उसमें इंडियाज कमिटमेंट टू इंटरनेशनल ऑब्लिगेशन. सो उस वजह से क्या होता था, जो बेस्ट इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन जो प्राइमरी था हमारा, हम उनको नहीं कर पाते थे कर्टेल, ड्यू टू विच पॉक्सो एक्ट आया 2012 में, एंड ड्यू टू विच जो चाइल्ड है वो वो क्या कर सकते हैं, वो अपने लिए रेस्टोरेटिव एंड प्रोटेक्टिव मेजर्स ले सकते हैं, बिकॉज ये एक्ट बनाया ही गया था to protect the children from the sexual offenses. And it's not the protection of children, only the females, but also the males, because males are also becoming the victim of of these crimes. So, this comprehensive approach marks a crucial shift from a purely punitive legal framework to one that is restorative and protective. This legislative intent was to move beyond simply penalizing crimes and to actively address the systematic failures that had historically allowed abuse to persist, such as the judicial process itself becoming a source of secondary trauma for child victims. For example, what happens when a child gets involved in these kind of activities? What happened to that person? He becomes traumatized, and due to which he cannot face the court. So, in order to protect the children from these kind of harassments and all the kind of things, there are preventive measures for that also, which are to be followed by the courts, by the judges, by the lawyers, even if you are the person who are representing the accused. Still, there are frameworks which are mandatory to protect the interest of the child by incorporating child-friendly procedures, by uh, incorporating a child-friendly investigation system for sensitive reporting and trial. The Act signals a fundamental reorientation of the justice system. It seeks to create the child not merely as a victim, witness providing testimony, but as a primary stakeholder whose physical, emotional, and psychological well being is of paramount importance at every stage of the legal journey. This foundational philosophy is a living acknowledgement that without a supportive and non intimidating environment, The promise of justice can be a hollow one for the most vulnerable members of society. The primary objective of this act is to ensure a supportive and non intimidating environment for child victims, guided by the principle that the child's best interest and welfare are of paramount importance. For example, the principles guiding all the action from initial reporting and investigation to the trial and rehabilitation, aiming to ensure the child's healthy physical, emotional, intellectual, and social development. A key feature of this act is its gender neutral stance, which I told you. Like it was formed just because of the very fact it is not only protecting the children who are female victims, but it also protects the children who are male victims. So it has the kind of feature. The key feature of this act is its gender neutral stance. The law protects all children regardless of their gender and recognizes that both boys and girls can be victims of the sexual offense. Similarly, the law applies equally to perpetrators of any gender, ensuring that both females and males are equally punishable for offenses under this law, even if a person who has committed the crime against a child, even that person is female or a male, he will be prosecuted under the same offenses. The Act also provides a clear and unambiguous definition of a child as a person below the age of 18 years. This broad definition removes the ambiguity of age determination that often plagued as earlier legal systems and ensure a uniform standard of protection for all the minors. While the principle of gender neutrality is legally progressive, it highlights a deeper societal issue. While it uh, while it highlights a deeper social, while it sorry, really sorry. There was a call from my end. It highlights a deeper societal issue of underreporting of abuse against male children. The data reveals that POCSO cases reported by boys are extremely low. For example, 99 of victims in 2020 were females. However, studies cited in the provided materials indicates up to 25% of males have experienced sexual abuse during their childhood. This stark contradiction suggested that the law's intent is not fully realized in practice, as societal stigma around male victimization and masculinity likely acts as a significant barrier to reporting, thereby undermining a core principle of the Act. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वहाँ पे जो मतलब इवन हमने भी देखा है व्हेन वी आर रीडिंग द केसेस देयर आर देयर आर टाइम्स जब जो पर्सन्स होते हैं या जो बच्चे होते हैं दे आर मोस्टली फीमेल्स and males don't are not there. But even if we see the study and the approach towards that, there are males who are like most of the males who are traumatized by these kind of activities, and these things are happening in India even right now. uh, there are people who are doing such kind of activities and they are like हमें कोई क्या ही करेगा. So these things are happening. This POCSO Act classifies offense into broad categories with punishment graded according to the gravity of the crime. Like for sexual assault, there is a minimum punishment of 3 years imprisonment, which can extend to 5 years, along with fine. Though the fine which will be imposed by the court, that will be given to the victim for his or her rehabilitation, for his or medical kind of things. So they under there is also like under section 7, which talks about the sexual assault, what is it and how is the imprisonment, how it like it goes from 3 years to which may extend to 7 years. For same is the case with penetrative sexual assault, which is more serious offense involving the penetration of the child's body to any extent with any object or body part, or making the child do so uh, with the person who is the accused or any other person, the punishment of this offense of 7 years, which may extend to life imprisonment. So it's not like punishment kam milti hai. There is punishment in order to protect the child from these kind of activities. The 2019 amendment enhanced this punishment, mandating a minimum of 20 years imprisonment if the victim is below 16 years. So even if there are things जो कर रही है मतलब amendments हो रहे हैं इसमें कि नहीं जी ये punishment जानी चाहिए, like not of the 7 years की नहीं होनी चाहिए, इसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 20 years की imprisonment होनी चाहिए, because it's the crime against humanity. If we see the graver nature of this offense, it is the crime against humanity. So there is also like aggravated penetrative sexual assault, which also like that is the bookish knowledge, like इतनी ये चीजें होती है, but फिर यहाँ पे ये चीजें होती है, like even if a person such circumstances includes offenses committed by a police officer, a public servant, a family member, or by a group of people, like which we call as the gang sexual assault. The punishment for this offense is a minimum of 10 years, which may extend to imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, and a fine. Even the 2019 amendment also introduced the death penalty for this category of offense in certain cases. So there is also like if one person doing the sexual harassment against a child with sexual intent, making sexually colored marks, showing pornography to a child, or any other act that creates a hostile environment for the child, the punishment is imprisonment up to 3 years and a fine. The 2019 amendments moved to a more punitive stance, including the introduction of the death penalty, represents a legislative strategy of deterrence. However, the strategy's effectiveness is called in question by the critical implementation failures observed. The extremely low conviction rate of 3% in 2022 and the backlog of cases suggest a fundamental disconnect. Uh, Due to some reasons, what persons in India, even in Kashmir, what they do, अगर उनको कल को पता भी चलता है एक बंदे के साथ या एक बच्ची के साथ सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट हुआ है, they are like, here the families are like, no, we will not talk about this, because they don't want to face the police, they don't want to face the court, because living in a society where court is considered to be a not so good place, because वहां पे क्रिमिनल जाते हैं, वहां पे पुलिस जाती है, वहां पे ये होता है. सो ड्यू टू विच जो जिन्होंने क्राइम किया होता है ना, उनको बहुत ज्यादा वो हौसला मिलता है, हाँ हमें तो कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता, हमारा तो कोई कुछ बिगाड़ नहीं सकता. Even there was a case in Kashmir when one person who is considered to be as a religious person, and he used to commit these kind of acts with several children. Then he was prosecuted, but after so many years, like after 10, 20 years, he was right now he was uh, prosecuted, because no one children, and the major persons who were his victims were the males and not the females. So these are the things which are happening in our society, because people of people considered a religious person a very spiritual, and he knows this and that, and due to which the children are suffering. And after that, even after so many years, this scam got covered by the media and he was prosecuted. But we should there is also one thing that is called the prevention is better than cure. How can we prevent the crimes rather than we will find for the cure, like crime हो गया उसके बाद क्या करें? It's better कि we will prevent crimes so that हमें cure करने की जरूरत ना पड़े. उस जब क्राइम हुआ है फिर क्या करें? How can we prevent it? So first of all, I believe, even when we have the children's in home, child is there, either she's either it's female or a male, we have to provide them a good environment. Good environment means there should be at least one person in his life or in her life with whom he or she can share everything. Because even there are a person, there are victims who are who can't share these kind of traumas, who believe that "Ki if I share, this was my fault, like if this happened to me, something was bad there." And कहीं कहीं ये चीजें होती है while we examine those children who are the victims of the sexual assault, who are the victims of this heinous crimes. What they do, they can't even express their self. And do in to be very honest, in India, in India's culture, which states that like यहाँ पे हम थेरेपी को एज ये मान लेते हैं, लाइक ये थेरेपी पे जाता है, इसको तो कोई मेंटल प्रॉब्लम ही होगी. सो ड्यू टू विच हमने इस मेंटल प्रॉब्लम को कुछ बड़ा चढ़ा के बोला है एंड ऑल दैट, अदरवाइज कुछ नहीं होता है. आई बिलीव कि फिजिकल हेल्थ से ज्यादा हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ इफेक्ट नहीं होनी चाहिए. हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ इज शुड बी अवर फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी. लेकिन अगर हमारे यहाँ पे बोलेंगे इसको थेरेपिस्ट के पास ले जाओ, उसको बोलेंगे ये तो पागल ही है. सो देयर आर दीज थिंग जहाँ पे एक बंदा या एक बच्चा नहीं कर पाता है किसी इंसान से भी बात. इवन एक बंदा या एक बच्चा अगर माँ के पास जब भी जाता है, लाइक एंड ही टेल्स हर these kind of things, this happened to me on this date, this happened to me, what his or her mom says, देखो बेटा ये किसी से बात नहीं करना इस बारे में, बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट गुड थिंग एंड ऑल दैट. ये ना अपनी जिंदगी में छुपा के रखना, वो ट्रॉमा उसका इतना बढ़ जाता है, वो कभी उससे निकल ही नहीं पाता है. So this creates a lot of problems for the people, for the children, because they are told that this is a very bad thing and we are not providing them the education, the proper education. What is good touch? What is bad touch? We don't provide them. And these are the things which makes these crimes graver. And जिस वजह से एक बंदा, एक बच्चा कभी उस ट्रॉमा से निकल ही नहीं पाता है. So these are the things while dealing with the children, while dealing with the victims of those heinous crimes, they are like that we can't express ourselves. So even there is act, there are these things which are protecting the children from sexual offenses. But I believe that we should take a step ahead in order to protecting this and safeguarding the interest of the child. We have to be protective towards them by providing them enough knowledge or a reasonable apprehension that an offense can be taken place, and this is this listen beta, this is bad touch and this is good touch, in order to make them aware about this. Because in today's world it stimulates about that person's, like how he will react to this after 10 years, after 20 years. Due to this he will never share this, and due to this he will be like that type of person, like मुझ में ही कुछ चीजें थी and this happened to me. एंड जो एक्यूज होता है वो भाग चला जाता है एंड ही फाइंड्स अनदर विक्टिम्स. because we are not providing our children, जो हमारी next generation है, जो हमारी future generation, we are not providing them the enough knowledge, and we are responsible for it. We are completely responsible for it because we know what is good and what is bad, but we are not telling them what is good and what is bad for you. So, this act establishes a clear and mandatory framework for the reporting of sexual offences against children. It stipulates any person, including doctor, doctors, teachers, or parents who has knowledge or a reasonable apprehension that an offense under the Act has been or is likely to be committed, must report such information to the local police or the special juvenile police unit. There is even if you can't go to the local police, you can go to the special special juvenile police unit, and failure to report such an offense is a punishable crime with an imprisonment up to 6 months or a fine. But here अगर imprisonment दी भी जाती है इसके लिए कि मतलब अगर आपने रिपोर्ट नहीं किया इस क्राइम को, तो आपको इसमें पनिशमेंट हो सकती है up to 6 months, yeah, and fine. But still people are not reporting it, and they are creating problems for their own. So this act is a sensitive and child-friendly, and its investigation is conducted in a child-friendly manner. Like the judge, there should be judge, a woman judge for this, and special courts should be established for that, and which are established, and which is presided by the woman judge, so that a child will feel comfortable about the offense, about the while giving the statements. The child's statement should be recorded at their residence or other place where they feel comfortable, preferably at that place uh, which feels comfortable for them, preferably by a woman police officer not below the rank of a sub inspector. The police officer must not be in a uniform, like for the protection of the children, and for giving that a person a good you people are commenting like there are messages, ma'am, please check the chat box. Like it's kind of like
Ma'am, just give me a minute so that I can drop one message for all the participants.
okay, okay, okay,
Then you
yes,
can begin.
yes.
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. Now you may begin.
Yeah, so I was there. So, in case of sexual assault, the victim must be referred for an emergency medical examination within 24 hours. And the examination of a girl child must be conducted by a woman doctor, and the process must protect the child's privacy and be done in the presence of a trust person, whether her mother or any other person whom she trusts. No medical practitioner is permitted to demand legal or magisterial documentation as a prerequisite to providing this emergency care. So, in order to protect the child in these cases, magisterial documents are not needed at that time. While the law imposes a clear duty to report, this provision is undermined by the systematic and societal failures, which I told you, like they are due to social stigma, due to fear and shame. Uh, this can't be. The people are hesitant to report these kind of acts. A study found that only 7% of victims and their families report to the police. This suggests a fundamental disconnect between the legal mandate and social reality, where the fear of societal repercussion or lack of trust in law enforcement outweighs the legal obligation to report. The POCSO Act, moreover, introduced a number of legal safeguards to protect the child from the trauma of the judicial process. Like all trials under this act are to be conducted in camera, excluding the public and media, and the presence of a trusted person such as parent or guardian. This ensures the child's privacy and dignity are mandated at all times. A such person is appointed to assist the child throughout the investigation and trial, like for the protection of the child's privacy and his dignity to be maintained at all times. So a support person is appointed to assist the child throughout the investigation of the trial and throughout the inquiry, throughout the trial procedure, in order to protect his rights. To prevent secondary victimization, the special court is mandated to put questions to the child, thereby preventing direct and aggressive questioning or character assassination by the accused counsel. I just told you, like in order to protect and in order to safeguard the child, there is a obligation and there is a duty towards the opposite counsel, towards the accused counsel, not to character assassinate to that child. And in order to protect the child's rights, he has to be very kind and when talking to the child, he should follow the details, follow the guidelines which he has to put forth, what questions he put forth to the child, like who do you know this person, because child, so that the child mind cannot be uh, like traumatized due to these kind of gestures by the accused counsel. The court must also ensure that the child is not called repeatedly to testify and is not exposed to the accused using methods such as video conferencing or single visibility mirrors. The statement of a child with a mental or physical disability must be recorded with the assistance of a special educator or a person family with their communication style. So these are the crucial things which we have to follow, like while dealing with a child, even while dealing with the being the accused counsel, while dealing with the child, we have to make sure that we will provide him or her a safe space to express herself while in court, while in any other place, so that he will not feel that he has done something which is wrong. So this is the crucial safeguard, and it should not be compromised by the judicial delays. The legal promise of a time-bound trial is a well-intended goal. However, due to some reasons and due to the trial procedure, number of pending cases and the inability of the court system to meet its own disposal targets suggests that the child-friendly procedures are being implemented at a pace that is counterproductive. A lengthy trial, even with safeguards, can be re-traumatizing for a child, undermining the very purpose of providing speedy justice. For example, what happened at times, a child who is there and after the child charge sheet is filed, the usual procedure, what is written in the books, that is you have to complete the trial within 1 year. So, but this thing is not happening in the practical world. It takes time. Trial takes time. Witnesses takes time. Witnesses' statements takes time. Doctors' statements takes time. Each and every person's statement takes time, and the judgments also takes time. So it's not possible for the courts even to provide to complete this trial procedure in 1 year. So it takes time, and due to disposal open disposal targets, that the child friendly procedure are being delayed somehow. So, this act also provides a comprehensive set of rights for child victims to ensure their well being throughout the legal procedure. A primary right is the protection child's identity, which is safeguarded at all costs. Like you cannot disclose the child's identity before media. Even if a person does this in any form of media, that is a punishable offense with an imprisonment of 6 months to 1 year. The child has also right to be protected from any hardship or secondary victimization during the justice procedure, which is because like what happens if a child becomes the victim of such graver offense, due to which what happens, he has to go to school. We can provide him the rehabilitation center. We can tell him go to the rehabilitation center, but he is just a child, and there's a thing like he's a juvenile and he can rehabilitate. He has not done any crime. So due to some reasons, what happens, when child goes to school, there is a blaming, लाइक उसको ब्लेम किया जाता है, नहीं इसकी गलती होगी, या उसको शेम ना हो, या बाकी चीज ना हो. So in order to protect the child from any hardship or secondary victimization, in order to protect his identity, this is the duty on each and every person, on each and every media like जो भी deal करती है, like media person, that disclosing the child's identity in any form of media is a punishable offense, and which is imprisoned, which with imprisonment of 6 months to 1 year. So, in order to protect the child from shame, in order to protect the child from the fear of being judged, in order to protect the child from being targeted by the peer members, by the friends, by any other persons, so in order to protect that child, there is a duty cast upon each and every person that no this even if you got to get an information about this is happening and this happened, his उसका केस चल रहा है कोर्ट में. So it casts the duty towards humanity to protect that child. So even there was some question regarding that, what is this I guess what is this theory called labeling theory impact. So I hope I have given the answer. So there are these kind of things which are happening in the daily life of the child, in order to protect, in order to safeguard him from these kind of things. This initiative, this is a mandatory thing in the POCSO Act, that you have not to disclose the identity of the child. So there are also a lot of things in this. So it also POCSO Act, despite its legal mandate, is confronting deep-seated societal taboos and power dynamics within families. The pervasive underreporting of cases is a direct indicator of the conspiracy of silence that surrounds child sexual abuse in India. Many victims and their families are hesitant to report due to fear, social stigma, and lack of awareness about their child. In certain cases, what happened, a perpetrator is a relative who is a common occurrence. Families for economically weaker sections often prefer a private settlement or compromise over a legal battle due to fear of societal pressure or financial dependence on the accused. This familial pressure directs undermines the act's purpose, despite the Supreme Court's ruling against such compromise. Like what happens? There are things like in many parts of India or everywhere, due to fear, social stigma, and lack of awareness about the rights of the child. What is happening? The perpetrator आपका एक रिलेटिव होता है और उस पे आपकी डिपेंडेंस होती है या रिलेटिव होता है। जैसे मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में देखा जाता है जो एक्यूज्ड होता है जिसने ये चीजें किए होते हैं वो एक रिलेटिव ही होता है, कहीं मामा चाचा दीज टाइप ऑफ पर्सन। और उनके साथ कॉम्प्रोमाइजेस फिर करते हैं ये लोग क्योंकि ये बचना चाहते हैं लीगल प्रोसीजर से एंड बदनामी से। नहीं, कल लड़की है, कल को इससे कोर्ट शादी करेगा। सो दीज आर हैपनिंग बिकॉज वी लिव इन अ सोसाइटी जहाँ पे बोला जाता है नहीं कॉम्प्रोमाइज ही करना है। या यहाँ पे एक चीज है लाइक इन अवर सोसाइटी यहाँ पे बोला जाता है कोर्ट में होता ही क्या है, सिर्फ डेट पड़ जाती है। सो in order to protect the child, they are not protecting the child, they are just protecting the accused person. They are just telling him हाँ तुम जो कर रहे हो वो ठीक है, उसको हवा और मिल जाती है। Like we have every time seen these are the perpetrator is a relative, and these things are happening in everywhere. Even if there is a survey, अगर मैं सर्वे करने जा रही हूँ वहां पे अगर खुल के कोई बात नहीं करेगा, अगर किसी को बोला जाएगा ना कि बोलो लाइक थेरेपी सेशंस में या किसी भी सेशंस में, अगर उनको बोला जाता है आप बोलो, वो बोलेंगे वहां पे मैक्सिमम टाइम्स वो जो इंसान था वो मेरे जान पहचान का ही था। एंड दीज थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग बिकॉज वी इवन जब उनको बोला जाता है, जब चाइल्ड के साथ बात की जाती है ऑल दैट, तो वो बोलते हैं कि हमने बोला था घर वालों को, लेकिन उन्होंने बोला था चुप करो। लाइक उनको इंसर्ट किया जाता है ये चीजें, उनको बोली जाती है ये चीजें दैट नहीं इसके बारे में बात नहीं करनी चाहिए। एंड they never did it, and due to which वो पूरी लाइफ में उनका जो लाइफ साइकिल हो जाता है वो ट्रोमाटाइजिंग बन जाता है। एंड ड्यू टू विच जो पर्सन है ना वो ह्यूमिलेट करते हैं। Like there are certain things, there are certain incidents which are happening to those child जहाँ पे उनको बोला जाता है कि अगर तुमने घर को बोला ना मैं ये कर दूंगा, मैं वो कर दूंगा, बट वो कभी वो बात बोल ही नहीं पाते because we have not provided such safeguard towards our children by telling them कुछ भी हो जाए मेरे पास आना मैं कर दूंगा सब ठीक। शायद हम उतने अच्छे माँ बाप नहीं बन रहे हैं, शायद हम उतने अच्छे लोग नहीं बन रहे हैं। इवन किसी कोई बच्चा होता है वो अगर बोलता भी है उसको बोला जाता है नो दिस रॉन्ग, इसके बारे में बात ही मत करो। एंड ये चीजें हमारी इंडियन सोसाइटी में एट पैरामाउंट है। लाइक दीज थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग अभी भी। लाइक वी आर डिस्कसिंग दीज थिंग्स लाइक किसी कोई बच्चा अभी माँ को बोल रहा होगा दैट दिस हैपेंड, और उसकी माँ उसको बोल रही होगी कि नहीं कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है, बिकॉज वी लैक दैट काइंड ऑफ सेंसिटिविटी। बिकॉज हम खुद शायद इतने कमजोर है, शायद हम गलत के लिए उठ नहीं रहे हैं, बिकॉज वी आर लाइक इट्स ओके इट्स फाइन, उतना नहीं है। अरे कुछ भी नहीं है, तुम ज्यादा सोच रहे हो या बाकी चीजें हो रही है। So these things are happening. Even the government मतलब इनिशिएटिव तो लेती है, बट आई गेस हमें उस तक पहुंचने से पहले हमें अ, अपने आप में झांकना चाहिए कि हम प्रोवाइड करेंगे एक बच्चे को वो सेफ स्पेस कि वो हमसे शेयर करे। लाइक व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, लाइक जब कोर्ट में उनकी सुनवाई भी होती है, उनको आना पड़ता है, दे आर लाइक नहीं बोल पाता है बच्चा, मतलब इवन आफ्टर प्रोवाइडिंग द सेफ स्पेस। एंड एक्यूज जो होता है वो उसका तो ट्रायल शुरू होता है, वो तो उसको जेल पूरी नहीं मिलती है, या उसका ये चीज किया जाता है चलो कोई बात नहीं, इट्स फाइन, वो बेल पे छूट जाता है। और फिर उसको मतलब कन्विक्शन होगी या नहीं होगी, दैट्स a सेपरेट थिंग, एक्विटल हो जाएगा। एंड इन सर्टन केसेस व्हाट हैपेंड, देयर इज like there is a Romeo Juliet theory, which is what will happen to the persons who are like a 16 years old girl and a 17-year-old boy. Both are minors and they are having a relationship. So in these cases, what happened in court, like I've seen these kind of things. So what happened, what they do is लड़की अगर भाग गई है लड़के के साथ, 17 ईयर या 18 ईयर का लड़का होता है, तो जब उसको घर वाले पकड़ते हैं ना और एक दो थप्पड़ मारते हैं, तो लड़के पे रेप का इल्जाम लगाते हैं, ड्यू टू विच एक निर्दोष इंसान हु ऑब्वियसली वो कंसेंट से भागी होती है, बट ड्यू टू विच एक निर्दोष इंसान फंस जाता है। So where are we providing the education, the basic education to the children, कि that this is wrong? Because हमारे समाज में वो बोला जाता है that हमारी इज्जत तो बहुत priority है and all that. But why we are not providing the safe space to the child? मुझे लगता है एक इंसान, एक बच्चा झूठ नहीं बोलेगा जब तक उसको नहीं मार पीट के बोला जाए कि तुमने ये गलती की है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक इंसान को बोलो कि तुमने ये गलती की है, ये गलती की है, ये गलती की है, उसने शायद फर्स्ट डे पे की ही ना हो, लेकिन उसको जब बोला जाता है ना तुमने ये किया है, तुमने ये किया है, वो दूसरी बात बोले मैं तो वैसे भी बदनाम हूँ, ऐसे भी बदनाम, चलो मैं ये गलती कर देता हूँ। बिकॉज वी आर नॉट ट्रस्टिंग अवर चिल्ड्रन, we are not trusting ourselves that what, even if a person is coming, even if a child is coming, क्या पता ये सच बोल रहा हो। एंड मुझे लगता है चाइल्ड से ज्यादा हमारी हमारी खुद की एक बनती है कि टू प्रोवाइड देम द सेफ स्पेस, एज पेरेंट्स, एज सिबलिंग्स, एज अ पर्सन, एज अ ह्यूमन, वी हैव टू प्रोवाइड देम द सेफ स्पेस सो दैट दे विल बी एनफ एनफ कि वो हमसे वो बात शेयर कर सके। Obviously, government initiate करती है careful data-driven review of the Act's provisions, particularly concerning the age of consent. मतलब as suggested by the Supreme Court, मतलब any policy changes should be guided by a multi-disciplinary committee of experts and prioritize the best interest of the child over any social or familial consideration. But when we are providing the basic safe space to the child so that whenever these things happens to him, he will come to us and he will tell us that this happened and this was wrong. I feel that this was wrong, but this happened, so that एक बारी कुछ गलत हो जाए वो दोबारा ना हो उसके साथ। लेकिन यहाँ पे हमें बोला जाता है इट्स ओके, ये चुप कर लो, ये बातें कहीं नहीं जाती हैं, ड्यू टू विच उनका जो चाइल्ड का होता है वो उनका चाइल्ड उनकी जवानी भी उसी के साथ जाती है, दैट दिस हैपेंड टू अस। एंड दे मतलब उनकी काउंसलिंग भी नहीं होती है आफ्टर टाइम, उनकी काउंसलिंग भी नहीं होती है। इट्स लाइक जब हो चुका होता है उसको बोला जाता है दैट तुम झूठ बोल रहे होगे या वो उस पे भरोसा नहीं किया जाता है। लेकिन जब हो जाती है चीजें देन दे आर लाइक व्हाट विल वी डू। सो in order to protect the child, it's not only child centric, like sometimes what happens कि कभी कभी कोई झूठे केसेस कर लेता है। like there are people जो बोलते हैं हाँ हमें अगले बंदे से बदला लेना है, तो what we will do, हम ऐसा केस ठोक देते हैं इस पे, जिस वजह से एक पर्सन है वो शायद एक्यूज नहीं होता है लेकिन उसको कटघरे में लाया जाता है एज एन एक्यूज। दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ ट्रायल प्रोसीजर टू प्रोटेक्ट द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ चाइल्ड एज वेल एज टू प्रोटेक्ट द एक्यूज, मे बी वो एक्यूज ना हो। So in order to protect both the people and in order to protect mainly like the child, because child बच्चों को बोला जाता है ये भगवान का रूप होते हैं and they always tell the truth. So in order to protect the child, in order to protect them from these cases, we have
Ma'am, please turn on your mic.
oh, I was muted. So the battle against child sexual abuse cannot be won in courtrooms alone. I believe public awareness campaigns, a duty of the central and state governments, must go beyond general slogans to address specific communities and vulnerable groups. Such initiatives should aim to foster a culture of prevention and reporting by building trust in the justice system. The focus should be empowering parents, like every time parents should be empowered, teachers should be empowered, and the community leaders to recognize the signs of abuse and understand the reporting process. It is only through a comprehensive grassroots effort that the deep-seated societal taboos and the stigma surrounding child sexual abuse can be dismantled. So this was a like uh, comprehensive what we call as the regarding the POCSO Act, and it's a without a doubt a theoretical sound and progressive piece of legislation that has been rightly been hailed as a landmark in India's history. Its child-centric philosophy, gender-neutral approach, and detailed procedural safeguards represent a shift in the country's approach to child protection. However, after more than a decade since its enactment, its efficiency leaves must be to be desired, with unfulfilled hopes for many victims. Like even if it is a victim centric and even if it's protecting the child, but there are certain things happening, like even the person who was victimized and who don't talk about it, we cannot protect that person, हम उसको इंसाफ नहीं दिला पाएंगे, because in order to safeguard the child we have to provide that child a safe space in home. लाइक नॉट एट कोर्ट में उतना नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन हाँ कोर्ट में प्रोसीजर है कि हाँ हमें उसको सेफ स्पेस देनी चाहिए, बट वो इतना होना चाहिए कि उसको इतना प्यार मिलना चाहिए घर वालों से कि वो चीज वो पहले ही दिन बोल जाए कि ये चीज हुई है, इवन ए सिंगल टच, सो दैट कि वो कल को उसके साथ इससे बुरा ना हो जाए। So it's a duty casted upon a parent. It's a duty cast upon teachers. It's a duty cast upon us. Being a human, it's a duty towards us, to protect the child from the protection of children from sexual offences. So I think we have it's time for questions, I guess.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the knowledgeable session. Now we will take now questions from the participants. So please type your questions in the chat box. I'll mod I'll moderate them to our speaker. Feedback form has been shared with you, if you can see in the chat box. Ma'am, there is this question from Khushi Sablok that please give your introduction, ma'am.
My introduction.
Yes,
Okay, so my introduction, my name is Areeba Ahad. I'm an advocate by profession, and it was my dream to be an advocate. So I'm not here as uh, by chance, but by choice. So yes, uh, for me, advocacy is like it was my first thing which I love. Like I cannot live without it. Yes, I am currently working with Iqbal Malik and Roma law offices. That is, I am our law offices in Kashmir, Srinagar. We are dealing with the cases regarding bank transactions and my mm, and the DVs and the matrimonial cases. Plus, I am the woman wing president of Hamad Kashmir, where I provide the uh, knowledge and all kind of things like small kids to the women and the girls in order to protect them and in order to provide them the sanitary napkins and all for the betterment so that they will not use clothes and all. So yes, uh, I am doing it since 3 years. So yes. Anything else you want?
ma'am, then there's this question from Ashwini Rana that can't we have a special permanent tribunal for the speedy justice?
See, we can have like there is a timeline that we have to provide the trial within. It should be completed within 1 year. But in practical way, how can you do it? Like if I am the judge, I have to first see the charge sheet, then charge sheet पे arguments, then bail, then procedure है कि पहले victim की testimony होगी, then accused, फिर witnesses कितने होंगे, like 2 4 8 32. So these are the things, and there are pending cases. Like it's not only one POCSO matter. There are matters are listed in POCSO court approximately daily 20 25. So for the judges also, it's quite hectic to provide justice, and you have to like there's a maxim, I can say that justice hurried is justice buried. So we cannot provide the justice in 2 minutes, in 3 minutes. We need to tackle the situation. We need to provide justice in a way that it should not, मतलब it should not be like that. हाँ ये accused है तो ये accused है. There is a phrase that is innocent until proven guilty. तो yes, there are legally तो हमें बोला गया है एक साल में कर लो, but it takes time. But if it takes time, it should be the betterment for the child as well as to the person who is considered to be accused in certain cases.
Ma'am, now I'll be taking two questions. First is from Preeta Gayan and the second is Samina Parveen. The first question is guidelines for the opposite counsel to cross-examination the child. Second is what will be the consequences if the POCSO Act is misused by the victims?
Okay, what was the first question? Guidelines
First,
for their.
yes.
Yes, there are guidelines, for example, in order to safeguard the child and while questioning that person. You have to protect the child's dignity. You cannot cross examine him with by saying that your character is this, and you cannot assassinate his character. You cannot assassinate her character. You have to follow those kind of guidelines in order to protect. Like you have to provide him a safe space while questioning. He should not be like ये मुझसे कौन सवाल कर रहा है, ये कैसे कैसे सवाल कर रहा है, कितने गंदे सवाल कर रहा है. So, in order to protect that thing, you have to follow certain guidelines, a certain respective humanitarian guidelines to while questioning the child. It should be like you cannot ask that person that you are by character assassinating him by telling him that you are wrong, you have done this, you are this, what's happening, how it happened, what you did you like. There are certain questions you cannot ask her, you cannot ask him. So you have to protect that type of dignity towards the child and towards, and this is an obligation, this is a duty towards the accused counsel not to question him in a manner which is very offensive. Yes, second question, I don't remember the second question. What was the consequence? Yes.
Sure, ma'am. The second question was what will be the consequences if the POCSO Act is misused by the victims?
For example, if one victim is doing like he is reporting a crime which is wrong, which is incorrect, वैसा कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है, he will be punished under POCSO Act for an imprisonment of up to 6 months, which will extend to 1 year, and fine. There is also a reporting false information, then you, and it's only 6 months just because of the very fact कि कोई बंदा अगर आए भी ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन ऑर्डर टू प्रोटेक्ट द चाइल्ड, इवन अगर कोई बंदा आए फॉल्स केस लेके या असली केस लेके भी, जो असली केस लाए भी उसको नहीं लगना चाहिए मेरे को तो कल प्रोसिक्यूशन होगी, इसलिए 6 मंथ्स की सजा है, विच वे एक्सटेंड टू 1 year. Yes, it depends. Most of the time 6 months. Next question.
Next question is from Soumya Priyadarshini. Is Romeo Juliet law exception applicable in India?
No, it's not applicable. That's an exception. Like there is a there is a, like a child will be considered approximately 18 years का होना चाहिए child. So 16-17 rule does not apply. That applies in UK, US, because they are thinking that there is Romeo was 17 and Juliet was 16. That's why this called as Romeo Juliet, but it's not applicable in India. That's why most of the prosecutions held just because of this, that उसने उसको kidnap किया and all the kind of things. Next.
तस्नीम नफीस आस्क्ड कि अगर सेक्सुअल ऑफेंस किसी के साथ हुआ है एंड अगर उस ऑफेंस को मोर देन 18 इयर्स हो जाएं तो वो स्टिल फाइल हो सकता है?
ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, मतलब फॉर इंस्टेंस आज से 18 साल पहले ऑफेंस हुआ है. यस.
अगर सेक्सुअल किसी के साथ हुआ है एंड अगर उस ऑफेंस को मोर देन 18 इयर्स हो जाएं. यस मैम, यही क्वेश्चन है.
मतलब फॉर एग्जाम्पल 18 साल पहले ऑफेंस हुआ था, वो 18 साल बाद आ रहे, देयर शुड बी अ टाइम लिमिट. यू कैन फाइल द कंप्लेंट लाइक FIR should be filed within 24-48 hours. You cannot file it. How can you file it? अगर 18 साल पहले फाइल हुआ है FIR, फिर डिले हुआ है प्रोसीजर को, बट देयर इज अ टाइम लाइन. Why we call it as a timeline? There should be like timelines. वो हुआ है, उसको 18 साल बाद याद पड़ा है कि ये चीज हुई है. It's not recently. मतलब I don't think so. ऐसा हो सकता है. But there are safeguards like in order to protect the child, उसी टाइम मतलब within 24 hours मैजिस्ट्रेट के पास जाना है in order to protect him from these kind of acts, और उसका मेडिकल इमरजेंसी पे एग्जामिनेशन होगा एंड उसको मैजिस्ट्रेट के उस लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट के लिए लीगल ड्राफ्ट की जरूरत नहीं होगी, क्यों डॉक्टर उससे नहीं मांगेगा. and that should be done in the presence of a support person. Next.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, next question is from Chintan Yadav. Ma'am, this act only apply to major people?
मतलब, for example, 18 से above major people.
Yes, ma'am.
For example, there is a thing like what I said, Romeo Juliet clause. 16 ईयर का लड़की है, 17 ईयर का 16 ईयर की लड़की है एंड 17 ईयर का लड़का है. सो इफ दिस हैपन कि वो लोग भाग गए, फिर लड़की को लाया, उसको दो मतलब उसको बोला गया कि क्या हुआ एंड ऑल दैट, तो उस पे गलत इल्जाम न लगे या कुछ बोले ये, मतलब दिस कैन बी एप्लीकेबल टू 17 ईयर ओल्ड person also who is yet juvenile, और उसको बोला जाए नो, दैट्स व्हाई आई जस्ट टोल्ड यू रोमियो जूलियट क्लास which is not applicable in India.
Next question again from the Ashwini Raina. Ma'am, since rural areas are more vulnerable to such incidents as compared to urban, so how does the law talk about it? Is there any specific provision with regards to local social workers like Anganwadi workers and Asha workers in it and their role?
See what is happening, like you have to report the crime, and matlab, in order to government are doing the amendments, they are providing the amendments in order to protect the child from the urban areas also, and the local areas and rural areas. So for the protection of the child and for the protection of those like child centric, there are campaigns going on, like in order to protect, like this happens, like lok adalat hoti hai, उसमें बोला जाता है कि ये चीजें हो रही है, या कुछ अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम होते हैं जो गांव में ही होते हैं, जिसमें हम बोलते हैं कि ये चीजें होती है, हाउ कैन, मतलब आप केयरफुल कैसे रहे, मतलब जिसमें हमें ये डेटा ड्रिवन प्रोजेक्ट्स भी होते हैं. So there are these kind of like in order to protect the weaker sections of the community. Yes, like we are providing the knowledge, and it's up to the people like who are dealing with these. Next.
Ma'am, then there's question from Sharanya. Can delay in filing a POCSO case before the court be a ground for quashing it?
Sorry. Hi everybody. The remaining questions, we'll take a note of it. Sanjana, you can proceed to the thank you note. Ma'am, I'll share the questions with you, and you could answer them, and then I'll forward it in the group itself.
Okay.
Because we have another meeting about to begin, so that's why. I'm so sorry about that. Sanjana, you may proceed with the thank you note.
On behalf of Legal Specs, I extended my heartfelt gratitude to Advocate Areeba Ahad ma'am for her valuable insights on such a crucial subject. Children represent the future of our society, and as we have heard today, protecting their right is not just about legislation, it is about commitment, awareness, and collective responsibility. Thank you to our participant for joining us this evening. And thank you so much, ma'am, once again for everything that you have shared with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to all the participants, please do not forget to fill the feedback form.
Ma'am, please share the link again.
Sure, just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Next question. Myself, Ombir Singh.
Yes.
I want one girl is 17-year-old.
Yes.
So yes, ma'am. Girl is old, 17-year-old,
Yes.
and man is All
Hello.
Ma'am, I think he's left the meeting. I will get his too and I will send it all to you. I'm
Yes.
compiling it right now. Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope you have a great evening. To the
Thank you.
participants, Sanjana has shared the form once again. Please make sure that you fill it on the basis of which you would be receiving your certificate of participation by Monday evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Shall I leave the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Please fill out the forms before you start leaving. Sanjana, thank you so much. You don't need to fill the form. I will give you your certificate just like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.